You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, brought to you by BringingDownTheBand.com. No bad ideas, Coleman Dental and Printfinity. I am Major 7th. I make beats. I have the hard drive to prove it, and I want that smoke. And directly in front of me, the maestro, Mr. Bringing Down the Band, Lonegevity.
Hello.
Cheers, sir. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I think we might. Should we actually cheers since I said cheers? Okay.
That was a whack ass cheer.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I
I've
like
seen
that.
way better cheerses.
Well,
Me too.
Cheers.
Shout out to
What kind of
Cheers.
cheers
Shouts
is
to the
this?
cheerses.
Shout out to Cheers. Diagonal, as always, rocking in Warren Central, repping the alumni hoodie. DJ Jay Diff.
Salutations.
What's going on, my man? You all right?
I'm chilling in the cut, man.
Okay. You sound like a rapper, bruh.
I got a brew,
Yeah,
He is a rapper.
sipping on it.
you right. Yeah.
Not really.
Just for everybody, in case you guys are not keeping track, we want you to keep track. Star Trap is coming. We actually played some beats today, and I saw Terry actually, he started looking at his
The
phone.
creative
and-
juices are flowing.
Yeah.
We have like 11 beats now for it.
Yeah, so,
Got a
He-
whole album.
album.
He worth the beats.
We actually saw him start writing today. Like, he pulled his phone out. So I'm very excited to see where this project goes. Immediately to my left, the incomparable DJ Spoolz.
Hello, Michael.
What's going on, sir?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I like that Sean Price hat.
Thanks, man.
That's dope. Shout out to
Appreciate it.
Sean Price. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in P.
Yes, sir. Episode 64. We just had this conversation, but we was gonna go with the West Coast vibe, right? For the
Mm-hmm.
the 6-4s.
Yep.
We can do that. No Nintendo 64. No, none of that.
Nope.
Okay.
Three-wheel motion.
3-wheel
There you
motion.
go.
How about that? We
Yeah.
can go with that. This will be a
Yeah.
3-wheel motion episode.
Slow motion.
So
for ya.
I don't know what we're playing in the back here, but
Today it's Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls Online. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like it's pretty dark, but oh well.
Yeah,
So,
it's
Let's
pretty-
jump
It's
in.
nighttime, bro.
Yes,
it's
sir.
nighttime. It'll get lighter later.
Maybe, hopefully, it'll get lighter as we continue. Perhaps
We'll see.
we'll see. We
Say
talked.
yes, perhaps.
Say yes. I see
Does
what
this
you did
game,
there.
does it mimic what time it is locally for you by chance? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't
That'd be
think
kind of cool.
That would be
it
dope.
would, but I don't think it does.
Yeah.
It looks like the Shire.
It does,
the
man.
Hobbit Shire.
Shout out to the Shire.
I was telling him this looks right up my alley. Just
Yeah.
nerdy enough.
Yeah.
Right.
My nerd game is high for stuff like this. So.
Shout out to the Black Hobbit, man.
Mm.
Y'all know about the Black Hobbit.
Yeah.
I believe you showed me that video, sir.
Yeah, man. He out here. They
He's
didn't
out there
put
in
him
the
in
Shire.
the movie.
You getting that paper?
Nah, they left him out of the movie.
Oh well.
Was that a Dr. Trezo one?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
yeah,
It's really funny.
it is.
He messed up his bag. That's on him.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
there's being racist.
Yeah. Okay.
It's messed
They
up.
ain't
all
want the
good.
Black Hobbit in there, man. Or Willie Baggins.
Willie Baggins.
Baggins.
Yeah, man.
That's a dope name. That's better than Frodo.
Y'all sleep on Willie Baggins, man.
That's better than Frodo. I will say that.
Yeah,
The name is way better than Frodo.
yeah. Got
Is
a
it?
gang of kids.
Yeah, Willie Baggins sounds. It just sounds. Willie Baggins sounds like somebody that'll give you 30. You know what I'm saying? He just seemed like a dude that's cool
Give you 30 on the court.
on the court. Like,
Oh,
I don't know, man. I mean, he's a hobbit.
I mean, he could
bet
be
he
on.
plays barefoot.
he might have
Definitely.
Might
could-
have good footwork. I
That's
don't know.
exact. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
You will trip
Uh,
over his big foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could be on some Muggsy Bogues. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
As a hobbit. Yeah.
The Habit of a Hobbit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Shouts to Lupe, right?
I don't think he got a shot, though.
Nah.
Nah.
Not in the league.
No.
Nah, he ain't
Willie
getting,
Baggins sound like somebody that's a
he ain't
winner.
getting buckets.
Well, he sound like he got game. So I guess we'll leave it at that.
All right.
Episode 64, 3-wheel motion. Spoolz and I talked about this before as we were prepping. Dr. Martin Luther King will be 89 on his most recent birthday. I don't know what you can say or what hasn't already been said in terms of his impact. I find it interesting that a lot of the things that he addressed back in the 60s, civil rights, a lot of that stuff is still here. A lot of the issues, a lot of the stuff that they were moving towards to fight against, some of those issues are still here, they're still relevant, and maybe they're disguised different ways, but it's still the same. You know, it's the same sentiments. Like it feels the same. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that they went through so much back then, and he spearheaded that movement, man. And that's like, to me, his impact will be timeless. Like when I lived in D.C., I actually got a chance to go out to the monument, and I've also visited his childhood home in Atlanta. You know,
as well.
So it's just dope, man. I went to Ebenezer as well. Got a chance to visit his church. Yeah, you know, because it's down the street, so everything's close together.
All on the same block. Like his house, the museum, then the church is right down the street. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is in his own.
I lost all of them pictures, man. We went.
I did too, man.
High school, we went out there.
I think mine was
lost all them pictures.
Might have been a middle school trip. I'm not sure, but I definitely lost all the photos, man. So, but yeah, he just overall, man. What can you say other than just a great man, great impact? Spoolz, you got anything to say to that? Or
no, man. You said it well. I think just somebody I think everybody in this country should be familiar with. He's an American hero. And I'm glad. Like, I don't know, man. That's one of the books I remember that stands out for me when I was really young, like maybe 8 or 9. That my mom, like, we'd go to the library and stuff, and my mom was like, you know, put in my hand, was about Martin Luther King. And
that's dope.
Yeah, man. I think that there have been other, I guess, and this might sound strange coming from a white person, but other black leaders that I think should be celebrated like he is celebrated.
Sure.
But
why would that sound strange, Spoolz?
I don't know, because what do I know?
more than a lot, sir.
But no, man, I think it's you know, and like you said, Mike, I mean, I think there are things that are still going on today that you know, Dr. King would be, you know, doing the same thing now.
Can you guys imagine? I guess what his reaction would be to Trump. What his reaction would be to the kneeling.
I don't think Donald Trump would be our president if.
Yeah,
you know what, Spoolz? I have no rebuttal to that. I have no rebuttal to that.
Yeah, if there were a lot of different civil rights leaders still alive, or
I was gonna
revolutionaries,
say the same thing, man.
I don't think a lot of things would have went down like they have. Like, even if JFK wasn't assassinated, I think a lot of things would have been different.
Good call.
Because there were things that he was trying to put into place that were pretty much taken out of the equation once he passed.
Yeah.
I don't see Trump being president. And
Malcolm X or Fred Hampton. Or, people. It's
definitely not.
Edgar Evers.
If Tupac was alive, Trump wouldn't be president.
I mean, it's funny. I know we laughing, but Tupac was very influential. Like, straight up, like, he said what his plans were, and then unfortunately he got an untimely death as well. So, overall, just a great man. The legacy still lives on, and like we all said, it's unfortunate that we still have to, go down that road.
I like the social media movement that is where people are sharing quotes that aren't just the "I have a dream" speech, because
that's all everybody knows.
I know, and when you talk about, a lot of times we're talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Everybody says that, well, Martin Luther King was the peaceful one, right?
Yeah.
That's what, falsely, I think that's, I mean, that whole discussion is, and that's not, I'm not saying he wasn't peaceful. I'm saying they're, like, Malcolm X always gets, I've brought this up before. One. He gets tagged as, like, the quote unquote, the violent radical guy, but he really, he said,
was about
peace by any means necessary, and that
he was about affirmative action. Yeah. So, Martin Luther King was more about, he talked about it, he preached about it. The peaceful protest, the marches, if we do this enough, then they have to take heed. Whereas Malcolm X was more of a action. He wanted action. I can't say that he did a lot of action as far as just out there doing things like that, but he was definitely for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where those different contrasts come from.
I think Malcolm X has been demonized, though.
And that's where I was about to go. Like,
I
especially when we talk about Trump and supporters of Trump, and a lot of the older white baby boomer generation will say, well, Malcolm X, they view Malcolm X as a terrorist almost, as opposed to what they view,
Yeah.
The way I understood it, though, Malcolm came back from Mecca like on some even more peaceful than what he may have been.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? After he went there and came back, it was like he had an enlightening.
The thing about it is, Malcolm X was calling people out.
Yeah,
but he was doing it in a very
Elijah
intelligent
Muhammad.
way.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about Elijah Muhammad. This is
just overall
before all of that started happening.
Yeah,
He was calling out the government. He wasn't afraid to talk about what's going on and the situations that existed back then, and still to this day still exist. Like if you go back and listen to some of the lectures and conversations that Malcolm X had, it is still very prevalent today.
Mm-hmm. Same with Dr. King.
And the way he would lay it down would just be so.
He's brilliant.
So
man.
it would be powerful to the point where it might have scared people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have I think Malcolm was one of these people. One of these people. Some people have a skill set in terms of public speaking. Like there's a certain way when you speak, when you can actually convey your message.
Right.
Better.
Charisma.
Charisma.
That's the word.
He's full of it, man. Like he just had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard public speakers before that are dope, but it's not that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that. Dr. King's voice is commanding. You know what I'm saying? When he talks, that's we're talking about preaching or lecture or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just dope. It commands your attention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Malcolm's to me comes from when you hear him talk. It's you're hearing, and this isn't taken away from anything away from anyone, but a very knowledgeable human being, and it comes through just in the way. And I could see where I'm not sure who just said it, but where someone might be afraid of that or be intimidated by that.
Especially
Whereas Dr. King probably comes across a smidge softer when he.
Especially when he's
speak.
speaking on a lot of stuff that a lot of the country doesn't want to accept as, as truth, and
which makes it even more uncomfortable.
There's a delicacy there in a way that
If you think about it, Malcolm X is scary to Spool's point because it's like this articulate black guy that is not scared of anything. He's well spoken.
He knows
100%
about what he's talking about.
He knows everything, knows all the angles. You can't catch him up. Like he was probably very scary. You know what I'm saying? Because he was so on point. I think it's also dope. Like, we talked about legacy. We always talk about things that last.
Legacy.
And I just think it's dope that those guys still, you know what I'm saying? Now, we weren't even born, right? But we have done our research, or we've read, or we've heard, we've watched, and we know their impact.
The Autobiography of Malcolm X is one of the best books out.
Sir.
I was literally just going to talk about that.
Yeah,
man. I was literally going to say I
book.
recommend anybody of any race or ethnicity to read that book.
I didn't even realize his home was in childhood home was in Omaha. Was it Omaha, Nebraska?
I think it was where he was born, but
born in Omaha. I'm sorry.
Moved to Detroit, I believe.
Yeah, Detroit Red. Great movie. Shout out to Spike Lee. That movie was dope.
And then eventually New York City, right?
Denzel did his thing.
Harlem.
Yeah. It's crazy how so you got the flip side of the coin. You say that Malcolm X was more of the boisterous, call to action type of person.
Yep.
And Martin Luther King was more the peaceful, trying to come to a common ground type of person. And people say that they didn't like this one and like this one, but they still met the same fate, regardless of whether you thought this approach was peaceful and this one was violent. It didn't even matter.
It speaks volumes to that.
That's why all those arguments are really mute.
Right.
Even on a completely separate level.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't relevant anyways, but it
makes it that much worse. Yeah. Both resulted in the same thing. Exact thing.
I think it was within a year or two.
Yeah.
It's pretty close,
I think.
man.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Like
Martin's death preceded Malcolm, right?
Yeah.
But you bring up an interesting point. Like, there's a point in time, and I think I've brought up these CNN documentaries. Like, they've got these decades, right?
Yeah.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
I remember that. Yep.
If you guys go back, because I mean, I was born in '83, so we were all born roughly around that same time. But
Yep.
take a look. The 60s were fucking crazy in the United States, man, as far as like stuff like that was concerned, because not only did you have like, you know, Malcolm and Dr. King both assassinated, but JFK was assassinated in there. His brother was assassinated in there. You had people like Fred Hampton, like Medgar Evers down in, you know, I think it was in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, these things, that's a crazy time to be alive, man. And that's domestic. And then outside of the international thing, the Bay of Pigs and stuff like that, you know, not to sway this away, but the 60s were fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the political and social climate.
It's a common trend, though, so that just goes to show you how long this type of behavior has been going on, because there's always been acts of terrorism right here on our own soil. It doesn't matter what decade, what class you were from. They were all subject to
something.
Yep.
Dude, it's
I agree.
One of the episodes talks about, like, it's called like domestic terror or something like that. And it was basically talking about how many domestic terrorist groups there were here, like that were formed in the United States. And like, there was some weird, I don't want to like misquote this, but it was a number that jumped out to me. It's like, wow, like X number of bombings done by domestic terrorist groups in the United States every year.
Yeah.
In the 60s. And it was high. Like, it was like, I think it averaged out to more than one a day. You know what I mean? Now you're talking about small to large, you know what I mean? But blowing up federal buildings, I mean, like, it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Make America great again.
Speaking
That's
of, thank you for the alley-oop, sir.
You're welcome.
45 is back at it again.
With the white vans.
Man.
I wish it was just white vans.
Well, white Skechers.
You think they Skechers
He
long?
probably wears Skechers.
I don't know.
He probably got the high soul joints.
You got the
joints
Mr. McAfee's.
He's got the U.S. Polo assassinations, is what I call them.
He definitely has.
Oh, you got the U.S. Polo assassinations?
Assassinations.
Shout out to U.S. Polo assassination.
It ain't Ralph,
Appreciate
though.
you. No.
I bet he's got
Ain't
those
Ralph,
Steph
though.
Currys that came out a couple years ago.
You know, Steph has
The
improved.
new Stephs are actually
The nurse's
nice.
shoes.
Yeah, his
I know-
first
yeah, I
his
know
first
what you're
joints
talking
was
about.
trash though.
Yeah,
You know, we sneakerheads, you know, his
Yeah.
first joints was trash.
yeah,
Orthopedic boys.
yeah. Very
It was
much
trash.
so. Real community hospital like.
Well,
There we
St.
are.
Vincent game was high.
Yeah, super high.
High. Yeah.
St. Vincent,
Methodist game.
High.
Arch
Super
support.
high.
High.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? St. John's if you're from Anderson. High.
High.
Community if you're from Anderson. High.
Man.
My mom works at Community. What's up, Mom?
Hey, Ma. All right, man.
I even give him a throwback joint. Winona. Y'all remember Winona Hospital?
I'm not from Nap, so I don't
Hey.
know. I'm sorry.
That's how
I do.
Yeah, that's his shoe game.
What about Wishard?
Yeah.
I've heard that
Definitely.
name. Thank you, Bradley.
Wishard game high. Now Eskenazi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Hey, babe.
Hey, what's up, Sarah?
Eskenazi game real high.
High.
Yeah,
I think we got him covered.
definitely.
So 45.
Those were those shoes.
45 is back in the news yet again. It's 2018. We're still talking about this fool.
What'd he say?
Check this out.
What'd he say?
Check this out. So let me get my air quotes up.
All right.
A la Lone.
Yeah.
Allegedly, President Trump reportedly used the
Allegedly
term.
and reportedly.
I got both of them. I want to cover it.
All right.
Used the term shithole countries
Mm-hmm.
during a discussion about protections for immigrants from Haiti, El Salvador, and African nations, saying he would rather have immigrants from Norway, of all the places. Good old Norway. During the ensuing
People in Norway want to
controversy-
stay in Norway.
I'm gonna get to that, which included news anchors bluntly calling him a racist. Shout out to Don Lemon. I saw that. He definitely called him a racist.
He
Don
bodied
Lemon.
me.
He did.
He
Don
bodied me.
Lemon got his he stuck his chest out this
Yeah.
time.
Good for Don Lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bodied him.
He's come full circle since Ferguson.
Yes, he has.
Like he bodied him. No, like he didn't. You know what? You know who else bodies him is Anderson Cooper.
Yeah,
He bodies him.
definitely.
Yeah, he bodies him.
But the way that Don Lemon did it,
Yeah.
like he said, versus him back when Ferguson happened.
Oh,
yeah, night and day.
Was hey man.
Yeah. He's like
That-
the president of the United
Way to go,
States is a
Don.
racist.
Is a
straight up.
racist.
Yeah, straight
Is
up.
a
A
racist.
racist, yeah.
Straight up, man.
It was
he made
dope.
his family proud.
Yeah, I was proud too. We fooled with you, Don Lemon. But they also say that, let's see, bluntly called racist, and it says Haiti and Botswana are demanding an apology.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So here's my thing, man. So I was in a
Well, he said he didn't do it. So
yeah.
I mean, he always says he didn't do it.
Check this out though. I'm in a conversation, what I call a lone conversation.
fake news.
Now, lone conversations are conversations that I want to tiptoe in and out of, but I really don't want to get in because I know I don't want to engage with this foolishness. Sometimes Lone will come in and body a conversation on Facebook and just leave. Like me, I'm peeping back in to see if anybody else going to try to get me
Trying
going.
to throw a jab.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So I was having a conversation about shithole, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can use that how you want.
You're talking about
Yeah,
Poop
you can call him
mouth.
that or whatever you want, whatever y'all want to do.
poop
I don't know
knife.
about poop.
All these poop knife countries.
I'm not going to even go there. We ain't going to entertain that foolishness.
Oh,
Oh,
I laughed very hard.
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
Long story short, they're like, yeah. So has any film come out on this? Is it recorded? And I'm like, fam, like it doesn't matter. Like you're almost saying like, well, if it's not recorded, he would never say anything like that. I'm like, his history shows.
Can I ask
There's
how
a
was it reported though? Can I ask that?
There were
Because I don't know a ton about
There were
this.
multiple sources from people that were inside the room that confirmed it,
Okay.
that he said it.
Cool.
You
and
know
they
what I'm
were
saying?
apparently they weren't media people, were
No,
they?
they
were
were
like senators or something.
like White House people, quote unquote.
I'm
were-
probably even butchering that. I don't know if it was a senator. It was representatives of some sort.
There were
It
at least
was-
there were multiple sources that came
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Good
some
job,
were
Donnie.
A bunch
Republican
of
as well.
politicians.
Idiot.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know why people continue to give your boy the benefit of the doubt.
Some people are still like, well, aren't they? I mean, they are shithole countries.
I
I
seen
like
a video
I like
of
my
a
president
chick-
to just say dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Whatever's
seen
on
a
his mind.
video
He's
of a lady
human.
that was so enthusiastic about what Trump said. She
on
was
the
like,
shithole joint.
yeah, this is how we all feel anyway. He's just saying it.
Wow.
It is so
No,
crazy
I don't
because
feel that way.
these are the same people
Thanks, Bradley.
that claim to be Christians
Oh yeah, dude.
and
Yep.
who claim for him to be a Christian president
Tell it, man.
and are going over to these countries on their so-called missions or whatever. So how are you going over to help these people who you think and claim are pretty much shitholes?
Can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways.
Can't have it both ways.
That it just doesn't work like
Yeah,
that.
that Mother Teresa just wasting her time in
Man.
shithole countries.
Man.
Man,
You're right. It's a giant like hypocrisy.
Mhm.
like
It's a
that's
giant shithole.
That's too bad, man. Like and Trump's.
I need it, Spoolz. Go ahead.
I don't know.
man.
I don't. Have, that's what
I
I was
need-
saying. Just like an idiot. Like why? So let's say he feels that way,
He
which
does.
is wrong, right? In itself. Right.
Yeah, he feels. Let's say
Well,
he
like,
feels that way.
You can keep that
Yeah,
to yourself. Like
You don't have to articulate it that way.
I
No.
don't think he knows how to keep certain things to himself. He spews this stuff out, and then once it's out there, there's always a bunch of backtracking. Oh, that's fake. I didn't say it. You know what I'm saying?
well,
It's like something has to stick because you're not owning up to none of this stuff that's coming out.
it's
He,
a-
I mean, he don't care though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
He
his
doesn't
thing.
care.
And
That's,
honestly, I
you
hate
know.
to say it, guys, but Americans don't.
I
Nah,
mean, he appeals to a lot of those people.
yeah.
and the crutch or what I always hear
Not all Americans, but
Yeah.
the fail safe
A nice
is
majority.
Not
chunk.
everybody.
a great chunk.
the fail safe is well what we like so much about him is that he's just human. He's flawed. Like he's human. Like everybody makes mistakes, and I'm like, yeah, but he's making a lot of mistakes over and over and over
Yeah, shit's
as the
ridiculous.
president of the United States. I can go mess up tomorrow. I'm not the president of the United States.
One of the key parts of being the president of the United States is just the ability to speak well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not obviously but your ability to communicate
What's the level of charisma? You know,
is important. So to me, when
yeah,
people
use that
are
word
like,
again.
he's flawed, that's okay. That's to me being like, oh, that point guard who can't dribble very well. Well, he's
okay.
just flawed. It's okay. He should still start.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's you
That
know,
logic is
you can't
trash.
do some of the basic, like requirements of the job all that well.
No,
like,
he's not very good.
We're
at
not
it.
Let me
asking
give you an
to
example.
do
At my
much.
job, if they were like let's say, I don't know. It's fuck it. It doesn't matter. You guys get the point. It's just it's just
definitely.
like, okay. Here's another good when I always laugh about and get on my high horse about when people are like, oh, that's a good project. He raps to the beat well.
Mm.
It's like,
He's
well,
supposed
you're fucking
to.
supposed to be able to rap to the beat well. Like that's you're a rapper.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
given.
Hey man,
He
he's saying
rides the
stuff.
beat well, man. He got good melodies.
He's saying stuff, man. He picked good
Yeah.
beats. He did all these things.
It's like these are the core functions
Those are
of the job
things you're supposed
description.
to be doing.
You know, like if there was a job description for president, strong communication skills, I think would be,
near the top, if
Yep,
not
yeah.
at the like.
Mhm.
It's up there.
I don't know, but we'll lower the bar for him continuously. I don't know why, but
Yeah, well, because he speaks his mind.
Yeah, he's real. He's flawed. So
Because
I don't know,
speaks
man.
his mind.
it's, to me, it's just a child's
and
mentality.
I'm not like some uppity cat either. Like you have to speak like, just not like don't be an asshole.
we
Like,
talk, but we're talking basic level, common sense communication. I'm not. What he's talking about, we're not asking you to do something that's miraculous.
But again,
Just average, regular conversation.
but again,
Read what's in front of you, fam.
Mhm.
That's all you got to do. Right?
But again, that's not what he's trying to do or what he's.
Yeah. He doesn't care. To your point, he doesn't care.
No, that's
Yeah,
not,
he doesn't
that's,
care.
That's not in his job description.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, I mean, all right. So, example,
All right.
his the previous president, who we all know who that is,
Mm.
Barack Obama.
was very
High part we
articulate
see.
and could talk, and he was just all of that. He was a
Total package.
total package. His wife
Total
was the same thing.
Yep.
She'll actually be here like thinking
Mhm.
like a day or
I saw
so.
that. Yeah.
Oh, word?
Yeah, she's speaking at
Can
some
see,
organ.
Banker's Life.
Yeah.
Gotta be dope.
But
Almost
just to
said
clip before you
Consequent.
go further, what we're talking about is not necessarily how we're talking about how he speaks in general into nations,
right.
and how he's
Exactly.
perceived
So-
as the president, as the representative of our country,
Yes.
not just how he speaks.
And,
Yes.
and a good example of that would be the guy that was president before Barack Obama. It
Mhm.
was George W. Bush, who I
Mhm.
was not a fan of necessarily.
Mhm.
Yeah.
However, and he wasn't the most articulate president.
Nah.
However, he wasn't just spewing garbage and like
Yeah.
negativity out. Like you would hear about George W. Bush saying dumb shit. You wouldn't hear about him saying like hateful shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There's a large difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like when Trump says stuff now, it's just I don't expect him to ever apologize for anything.
Nah.
So when he does, it's just like, well, he's not sincere,
To Lone's point when he talks about
and it doesn't come across like he is because maybe
Yeah.
that's how he is.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Lone talks about Lone said
Just
it
a
when he said he
fucking
doesn't when he
worm.
doesn't care. It's like they prep him. I in my mind they prep him. All right, this is what we're gonna come out here and do. This is what we're gonna come out here and say. And then he walks all the way out there and is just like, fuck it, I'm gonna say what I want. Like that's what it feels like to me. It's like, all right, we did all this prepping, I have my speech prepared, but I'm gonna say what I want. It's a freestyle. Like that's the way I take it. Everything that he says. It's a freestyle. A bad freestyle.
Bad.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. We'll see. Obviously, we're gonna have to continue to talk
He's
about
not
this
the
clown.
best. He
I mean,
didn't do it.
People like bad
Bang.
music, so
Facts. I see what you did there. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I like
His
that.
his Eli Porter game is
He's
real,
not the best,
real
man.
mediocre.
He did it.
He's not the best.
You know, I might like Eli better though.
That's
Oh,
what
I
I'm saying.
Absolutely like Eli.
That's
better.
what I'm saying. His Eli Porter game is real mediocre.
Yeah.
I like Envy more than Donald Trump.
Yeah, envy.
Lego.
Yeah, let
What
go.
about you? Like academics more?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was listening to, speaking of academics, an older episode, like
way more than Trump.
episode 5 or something.
Yeah.
And there was a part where, because I've listened to academics for a while, but at one point I was like, he's really not that bad, or
Right.
something along those lines. And then the more I started listening to him over time, like, he's a herb, dude. Like,
He's a cornball,
like,
no doubt about it. Yeah, he's a cornball.
I just,
get your bread though, young man. You know,
yeah.
get your bread.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Hmm.
But
sorry, I just
Co-
think he's a
cornball
herb.
What in the
tendencies.
Joe Budden is going on
what
again?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Joe Budden's.
Man.
What in the Joe Buttons? Yeah.
Speaking of people that talk really well,
Okay.
so
Shout out to Lone's character with contacts. We see her.
It's
She got
not,
contacts.
it's
Is
not-
that you?
No, that's
Oh,
not me.
that's somebody else. That's the merchant.
Right.
That's the merchant, right?
Mike
That's
trying to
context.
shoot his shot. That's what
Hey, she got-
this whole segment is about. Him
Hey,
wanting to shoot
what
his
color?
shot.
What color?
Hey, man, look
contacts
at her
are those?
contacts.
They match
man.
her fit though.
Well,
I
here
saw
we
it.
are.
Do you always do that when
I
you
sound
go
like
out?
I was at the Black Expo when I said that they match her fit. Didn't I? I'm sorry.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard anybody say that.
You've never heard the phrase "something matches a fit."
No, not her eyes.
You've been in some areas where contacts match a young lady's fit. I saw it all the time on the south side of Chicago.
I've never heard anybody just be like, "Hey, her eyes match her fit."
We know south
Sounds
side
like a
of
song.
Chicago is different.
Sounds like
Oh.
it could be a song.
Yeah. But go ahead, man.
Oh, people that speak very well.
Yes.
So Oprah
Mm-hmm.
had a very nice conversation with the people
Mm.
at the Golden Globes.
She had yes, it was an acceptance speech or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, where everybody wore the black for the Me Too movement,
Yes,
which
sir.
is kind of goes into another conversation that we're going to have.
Yes, sir.
But since that acceptance speech and what she said, everybody's wanting to put her in the running for 2020 to be president.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I bring her up is because there seems to be a new trend to where it's almost like people don't want politicians to be the president anymore. It's like they want the most popular person or somebody that is more entertainment, in the entertainment field, to be the leader of the country.
That says a lot about this country.
So,
I think this is an
like, how do y'all
extremely
feel about?
Interesting topic, actually.
Yeah, how do y'all feel about that?
So where I thought you were headed first with it, because there's a couple ways you can, like you said, they don't want politicians to be the president or office anymore. Like that was the draw about Trump for some people.
Right.
Facts.
And there's something even to me that's kind of alluring about that, because I think the political game is unnecessary and kind of ridiculous, and I think it alienates people from wanting to participate in it sometimes. I mean, look at the amount of people that actually do vote. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that says a lot. But when you went in the direction of it being celebrities more so, like that I don't like as much.
Right.
Like the most popular person. Like Donald Trump doesn't have any political experience.
None.
He has business experience, but he doesn't have any. And, you know,
Those are
shouts
two-
to all those people that want a businessman or businesswoman. Not to sound rude, but you probably want a businessman running the country. You know what I mean? The conservatives. I don't see them putting a female candidate up anytime soon. So,
I don't know. They might put Tommy Lauren up.
yeah, it's serious. That falls in line
Bunch
with the
of
celebrity
snowflakes.
in the.
we
you
going
know.
to Canada if that happens.
Man.
But-
Did you see her
I-
sing? Did you see her singing 21
21
Savage?
Savage, yeah.
No.
Yeah, man. Oh my God.
That reeks of corniness. I haven't even seen it, but it smells
It's terrible, man.
But so I think it's interesting because this isn't so Ronald Reagan was a he was an actor before he ever got into politics.
Ronald Reagan was an actor.
He was.
Shouts to
Was he
Killer
in
Mike.
Westerns
Yep,
or
that's
something?
right.
Oh, he did.
John
A
Wayne,
mixture of
something
a
like that.
few different
Jesse
things,
the
I
Body
believe.
Ventura was governor of Minnesota for
Right.
a while.
That
Arnold.
actually might be my favorite Killer Mike song. Reagan.
Reagan,
Yeah.
the video is really cool too.
It is.
Yeah.
Untitled's mine.
Killer Mike
That
is a
shit's
beast.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's also been brought on as an advisor for the mayor. The new
Him
mayor
and
in
T.I.
Atlanta.
He's
Yeah.
somebody else that I love.
Mayor Bottoms.
Mayor Bottoms. Yep.
Mm.
Listening to him talk. Killer
That's a
Mike.
great
He's a very
move.
intelligent
Mhm.
person.
David Banner as well. To your
Mhm.
point, those brothers are sharp.
But
Anyways,
I don't like the trend towards the celebrity because it's the whole popularity thing. I think it's weird. Like I think it's another step towards like the movie Idiocracy and like an episode of Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm. That Black Mirror shit is real. I don't care what nobody says.
Man.
I've almost got all the season 3 watched.
I'm
Yeah.
I
asleep.
got one more to watch. But
Trump wouldn't have sex with a pig.
probably not.
He's
I'll tell you what, and I don't want to get it too far off your topic, so we'll talk about Black Mirror next or something like that. But no, it's
Scares
tough,
the hell
man,
out of
because
me.
again, the political system isn't appealing to a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
as far as us citizens that like, and maybe I'm speaking too broadly. I don't like the political system. I think it's kind of weird. I think it's smoke screens and a whole bunch of other shit that kind of makes you not
Yeah, it is.
like, you know, and that's frustrating to me because that's supposed to not be what it's about.
It's Bloods and Crips on another level.
Yeah. So if it were to be
I like that.
If it were to be get away from the way the political game is now, I'm cool with that. As long as those people that are getting away from it still know the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean like the shady game. I mean like the political game. You know what I mean? Like how to maneuver, just shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tommy Lauren is going to do. I don't think Trump's really doing a very good job of that. I don't know how Jesse the Body Ventura. Ronald Reagan had a tremendous political career. Didn't care for a lot of the things that happened while he was president, but he was a politician for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, I think it's unfortunate.
To me, it's the lesser, I guess, what of the two evils you want, because I'm not that political in terms of being that well versed on it. So that's why I don't talk about politics a lot until I watch, until I read, until I learn, until I make sure I know what I'm speaking on. But if I have to gauge politicians versus entertainers based off what we've gone through thus far, it's like, all right, to Spool's point, corruption is everywhere. Bullshit is everywhere, right? So we know the political system is crooked. We know that. But at the same time, it's like, to his point about Reagan with actual political experience, it's like, I feel like the country is being run by someone that does not have a clue about what the fuck they're doing at all.
That's
when it comes
true.
to, from a political standpoint, mental stability standpoint.
Well, he was cleared.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he did.
That's right,
He
yeah.
did get cleared. Sorry about that. You're right. Good
He was
call.
clear. He's very smart.
So he's very smart now. He was cleared.
I mean, the letter seems like it was written by Donald Trump.
Yeah, he
but
took the test. You're right. I'm sorry.
he is the
took the
most
test.
healthy person in America.
Yeah, he took
Right
the test.
now.
He's clear. But
The
good call.
healthiest person ever.
Ever.
Yeah, he's very
It
clear.
says it right here on the certificate.
But no, man, it's like, I'm based off the experiences that we have now. I'm
Got a
like,
doctor note.
Does, yeah.
and I fool
Look,
with Oprah.
look,
Yeah.
everyone.
But this is the thing. It's a double-edged sword because
Sword. Shouts,
Time out. Oh,
shouts to Wu-Tang.
yeah, let me go ahead and turn my mic to the side here.
why?
You just gonna clip everything? Jeez.
Why are we
We can
ringing
cut
the
that
bell?
out. Because it's not a sword.
Why is it?
Because this is not a Wu-Tang album. Go
This is
ahead.
a hip hop podcast.
No. Good call. Good try, though.
It is though.
He laughed, too.
It doesn't matter who laughed. It didn't merit the bell.
Didn't merit the bell.
Anyway,
I'm sorry,
what I'm
man.
saying
Go ahead.
is, so you end up putting somebody in that position
Mm-hmm.
that is a celebrity or some social idiot or something like that that's just popular. And at the end of the day, you have to have someone else near him who is a politician, i.e.
True. Mike
President
Pence.
Trump and Mike Pence.
Pence.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Pence is a piece of shit.
Facts.
He's a for real politician.
Facts.
And what I mean by for real politician, generally a lot of the for real politicians are pretty shitty people.
Facts.
They bounce back and forth over with what they believe in and what they stand for. They don't really stand on solid ground
At all.
So if you put this celebrity in a position to be the president,
excuse me,
and then you have the second in command, pretty much, I mean, it's almost like you want to see the person you want to see as the president, but that's just and this goes back to the whole puppet thing. There's somebody out in the front. It takes that puppet thing to a whole nother level because a lot of people don't realize the president doesn't make a whole lot of the decisions. It still has to go through Congress and
plenty
the Senate.
of channels to get.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not in. He doesn't just get to say this is what goes down. So now you have.
I don't
this,
think Donald Trump totally understood that when he got this job.
Right.
By the way.
He
Right.
definitely was on Twitter talking about he could do
Everything.
pretty much whatever he wants.
Yeah. So you got this other person, which is controlling the other person,
Right.
which is being controlled by everybody else.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I really want it to be that messy all the time.
No. So, I mean, it's same. Either way you go with it, though. I mean, your original point was talking about popular people versus
Right.
politicians. So, I
Right.
mean, I think there's a medium. What's the correct word there?
I think we want
Sword.
Yeah. So there's a correct sword there that
I think we want median on that one. Median.
I think that we want the correct sword, and depending on what that is, sometimes it's, there are decent politicians.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they don't have the popular appeal.
Yep.
So,
But that's the world we live in, man. Like, to me, that makes America, the United States of America, appear even more scary. That we want someone like Oprah to be a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but I mean, Oprah does seem like a better candidate than Donald Trump, so maybe that's the way they're looking at it.
But that still
I would vote
speaks
for
to
Oprah over Donald Trump
too,
every day of the week.
Yeah.
I would rather Oprah stick to what she's good at doing now.
For
Facts.
sure.
Because she's really good at doing that.
She's a billionaire.
All the things that she does. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason.
I feel like if she
for her
were
to be
president, everybody in America would get a new car.
I like
You
that,
get a
Spoolz.
new car.
Exactly.
You get a new car.
Or
we
like,
all get new cars.
or like some new appliances or something
Yeah.
like that. Everybody. Like she would just be like the next day.
Everybody gets
She
front
gets
load
sworn
washer
in
and dryers.
next day. There's delivery trucks out in front of everybody.
Everybody gets new cars.
Everybody gets front load washer and dryer. And Tide Pods.
Thank you, Oprah.
And Tide
Speaking
Pods.
of Tide
Yeah.
Pods,
You see that shit?
I think I know what y'all talking about.
did you guys see what I
saw a
posted in the
video.
community?
Did you post it in community? I
Yeah.
didn't see you
Oh,
post.
it's just a thing. It's a picture of a comedian. He's saying, "I wonder if in all these shithole countries, if the parents have to tell their idiot kids not to eat Tide Pods
or
Is that-
smoke them.
Is that a new challenge?
see the dude
That's
smoke?
some dumb challenge.
Some dude was dabbing a Tide Pod.
What?
Yeah,
Sounds like some Donald Trump shit to me.
yeah.
I like that long. That's that. Hold on. It's called the Tide Pod Challenge. Is that what it is?
I
Well, it
don't.
started
I
with
didn't
people
know it was
just
a
like
challenge.
eating them,
I see like
People are eating them.
right?
yeah.
Oh.
That's fuck shit if you eating Tide Pods.
Yeah.
Tide
That's
Pods-
some fuck shit.
I mean,
And
they-
like a couple of kids
they
have
work pretty
died,
well,
if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
what I'm saying.
Oh,
Spoolz.
yeah?
Why would you do that though? Who? How?
It's
why?
stupid social. It's like social media shit and stuff. It's crazy to me.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
like it.
We do not advocate Tide Pod
We
eating.
absolutely
Nah.
don't advocate that.
Don't mix that.
Read
with,
the fucking Tide box and see what it says about what's going to happen if that does. You know,
What is
like,
it for, Spoolz? What's Tide for?
It's for clothing.
It
Thanks,
gets out
Brett.
stains.
To wash it.
Wars.
Yeah.
there
to
we
wash
are
your
again.
clothes.
Tide Pods trending in the news right now.
There we go.
Why the Tide? This is the first thing that pops up from ABC News. Why the Tide Pod challenge is dangerous and potentially deadly.
Why do you
Told
have
you.
to tell somebody that?
Told you. Tide Pod Challenge. That's stupid.
This is pretty funny. I don't know who this guy
This
is.
era is trash, man.
It says 1998. In 20 years, we'll have flying cars. 2018. We literally have to tell people not to eat Tide Pods.
It's idiocracy.
Man.
What else are we talking about? What,
All right, man,
what's on the
We
list?
was in the Me Too section real
Let's
quick.
keep it moving.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's do
Because we're down to like 20.
you said
less than
me
20
you
minutes.
want to do the app I told you about with Nick Cannon, which kind of
Well, you can we can sub into that by speaking on the whole Me Too,
fair enough.
the Me Too, what's it called? Campaign or
I
what?
think it's just
whatever.
a campaign overall.
What's new in it? Me too. 'Cause
Okay,
apparently
so
I missed it.
Yeah, I must have missed that one.
the Me
Is something
Too
new?
thing.
Is there something new on that one?
Well, there's somebody who was accused of something.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Oh, I got you.
Before that,
Who
real
is-
quick,
who is
Black
actually,
Mirror season 3 is super dope.
What is?
Black Mirror season 3. If you
Oh,
guys
you
haven't
seen it?
watched- Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've watched them all except one. But
Yeah.
Yeah. The last
Very good
episode's
show.
one of the best ones too.
Yeah.
The last one's dope.
Of-
I haven't watched 5.
4. No, that's
okay.
in season 4.
There's a
So-
4th season?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we're on now?
Yeah, it's 4th season.
I thought season 3 is what just came out. No,
No,
it is
season
season 4.
4.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you're right.
Somebody
Yeah.
was accused though.
Yeah, somebody was accused who was actually an advocate for
Mm-hmm. He's got a book called Modern Romance.
yeah.
Mm.
And he's got a series called Master of None,
Mhm.
which is all about relationships.
Pretty much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Master of None's not a bad show at all.
It's a really good show actually.
Parks and Rec was a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Aziz Ansari,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Was
know.
accused of sexual harassment or
I don't know
sexual misconduct.
sexual misconduct. I think that's a good term because it wasn't rape.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Are these legal charges?
I don't know.
No, I
honestly.
think it's so. There's
I don't think it's there yet.
There's an
Might be.
pretty much a young lady reached out to a publication and gave
Babe.
her account
Yeah.
of what's going or what happened on this even prior to this night, like even meeting him and
Yeah.
then her having a day with him, so on and so forth, and the things that happened at his house.
It's very detailed.
Very detailed. It's interesting to say the least, and this is where the kind of gray area comes to play, because certain things happened, and I guess she was expecting him to take social clues, but yet she still acted on some of the things that she said she wasn't really
ready for
to
do.
More than once in the same occasion.
Yep.
Had times or chances where she could actually leave the situation.
Yep.
And stay to watch episodes of Seinfeld.
I can't believe it.
It's just an interesting story and an interesting situation, especially based upon who's involved in the situation. And I don't really know, because it's almost like if you don't believe certain things, you can be perceived a certain way. But it's just, I don't know.
I don't think there's anything. Here's my thing. I think that her story is probably accurate. I think everything.
It doesn't sound like it was hogwash.
Everything that she said, I think, is probably accurate. I think everything that she said, all the accounts, fine. I don't want to take away what she felt and all that other stuff, but at the same time,
there's a lot of gray area.
Everything
here,
that you just said. So it starts off with them going on a date, and she articulated, "Oh, he kind of wanted to leave the date early." Okay, well then you kind of know you're going back to his place, first date, and you go in. Okay,
Yep.
We're talking about nonverbal communication, right?
Yep.
It goes both ways.
Yep.
Excuse me. One, nonverbal communication. Not everybody registers all nonverbal communication. Let's throw that out there. Just, I'm somebody personally who I don't want to throw myself in this situation, but I don't read body language very well, personally. If I talk to somebody, I may not pick up on something. It'll just go over my head.
Unless they say no.
Unless you speak, or if you speak verbal. I'm just talking in general. Like if I'm sitting at a bar, with you guys, right? Say we're coaches.
Shout out to Lone.
And Mike goes like, yeah, that girl over there, she's interested in you.
Yeah.
All right. Did she say something?
Yeah.
That's just me though.
Right.
I mean, she might have said no. She might have said yes.
Shout out to Terry getting loan out here with the feds.
But did she say no?
Like with you though, she's got to say no, right?
She's got to be like,
or else
no,
she's gonna keep going, right?
What's the word I'm looking for? Terry trying
It's got
to implicate
It's
loan.
actually got to be the actual word too. It can't be no. These are jokes.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't trying to. Yeah.
No, but there was a lot of. I guess the thing that we're speaking on, the gray area that we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Is the nonverbal communication, is the coercion aspect of things, is the fact that even though she said that she felt uncomfortable, she stayed, and she engaged in multiple sexual acts with him twice. Her uncomfortable feelings that she had, I believe her.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I believe everything that she said. I just feel like there has to be some sort of a quote unquote our word accountability.
Yes.
If it sounded like a bad date, it sounded like she didn't have a good time, like things didn't pan out the way that she wanted them to.
Yeah.
It didn't necessarily seem like he had ill intent.
Nah, because he actually texted her the next morning.
Right. But even if he was, let's say he was completely oblivious of all this stuff, he still didn't have ill intent.
Right.
And then it goes down to the other, then there's the education aspect of, okay, is this something that's taught in our society? Like he's a 34-year-old man.
Yep.
He didn't think that he did something wrong, but he did. Right. Allegedly.
Sure. Allegedly.
And he did come across as a creep. Don't get me wrong. He did come with
He did some corny stuff too. Now
that's what I mean. Corny, creepy, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
He did some stuff that's kind of like he sounded like he was like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
his
just kind of
quagmire level was high.
quagmire.
Mhm.
There we go.
He did a little bit of that.
And we've said multiple times in the past, you
Yeah.
don't quagmire unless you know somebody.
Facts.
Straight up.
That's a fact.
So I felt like she was feeling the situation out. There's a human factor here. I was having a conversation with somebody, and there's a human factor involved in these types of things, where it seemed like she was feeling out what was going on, and at the same time, it felt like he didn't necessarily know that he was necessarily crossing the line.
She actually said, I think when she was saying that she wasn't comfortable, she told him something like maybe next time.
Yeah, she did say that.
Yeah. So
that's an interesting statement in that particular moment.
You know,
for someone that is
it's like
mad uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But to his point, there's so much gray area here in terms of the communication, the nonverbals. It's like through the midst of everything, she said, "Well, maybe there's a next time or whatever." I'm paraphrasing here because I already heard what you said, but that's the weird part.
So maybe he thinks that the couch is the next time.
Yeah, like
all right, this is too much. We're gonna sit on the couch, and then he feels like he's gonna point at his member, and she's gonna be okay, which she was, right, or maybe she wasn't, but she did anyways. So I don't know. I don't know where the patriarchal power segment comes into that, like the man, like I don't even know if that's really a thing here. I don't know. I guess maybe
it's
to
just weird, man. It's just weird.
It is weird. I don't think he should be, based on what I heard. I don't think he should be like charged with a crime.
Did you read the actual story that she had, or
like some of it?
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And you guys, do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
To me, it seemed like a bad date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like something that you regret doing. Like
I'm not a woman. We've had this discussion about numbers of different different things, but I'm not a woman, so I can't say like that she shouldn't have spoken out.
100%. I can't.
If that's what she felt like doing, I just don't. I'll tell you this,
but she was anonymous.
If you were let me ask you this: if you were a female and you were raped and you came out and were like Me Too and were in support of this, would you feel like the story that you just heard was in any way, shape, or form resembled what you went through?
Right. And
those seem like tragically different things to me.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of different.
But it's hard to say. I'm not a woman. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't know.
From the outside looking in.
As soon as this happened, at first I was just like, oh man, like this is a messed up situation. No, I don't necessarily think she did anything. I don't.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's nothing that she did that was wrong.
Nor do I.
It was
maybe the insinuation that he was. Do you think he was forcing her to do anything?
Here's the thing, and
that's where it gets tricky.
That's where exactly it could be like you said, something that's just kind of built in that that's definitely not okay, but like a forcefulness as far as like males, and they think it's like natural.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it points to some of that.
Yeah.
What guys, dudes or quagmires might call just, I'm just being persistent. It's like, no, man. Like, imagine somebody was trying to sell you something the way you were acting. You would get annoyed as fuck. Now pretend that it's like your body and they're just falling. You know what I mean? So you have to try to have empathy for those situations. You know what I mean? And not treat females that way. Maybe that is what this is talking more about, not the criminal aspect of it that's gone on in Hollywood and outside of Hollywood, and that's been a part of society in a way
it's
too.
Completely different than those situations.
Yeah, but it's maybe one could lead to another.
For sure, if it was different people in there, maybe
But
I do think the coercion aspect of things is an interesting take on it that I had never really thought about before. But I did see somebody when this first came out. It was like midnight on Saturday or something, and I was up and I was reading it, and I just went on Twitter, and you can just read all the different stances that everybody has. And so after my initial reaction, which was like, well, that's messed up, I was like, that's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't want to necessarily say I was against Aziz, but I was like, man, like you should know better. I don't know. And then
it was a super herb move.
And then I watched
series of moves on his part. Yes.
And then I was reading more, and then women were saying different things. some were saying this, some were saying that. And they're like, well, why'd you do that? You know, I was like, okay. It's just interesting to take all that in because they're women.
And there's 1,000
you know?
majillion opinions on this too. You know what I mean?
I did see one person say that I didn't necessarily. This is an interesting take. She said you should never ask
for it.
for anything. Never ask. And I may have interpreted what she said
I
wrong.
like what she's saying.
So she's saying everything is
Right.
However,
right.
however,
I understand what she's saying.
Is everything a natural progression, and it should just be about feeling? And
Well,
is that what she's saying?
Well, let me continue.
that goes well into your next the last.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
that's what I was going to say. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's this perceived notion of what sex is, right?
Right.
So obviously, from that stance, it's like, well, yeah, if you have to ask, then
Right.
But the way it was worded at the same time, it made me think of how people will interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a confusing statement because to people that aren't going to pay a lot of attention to this, they're going to be like, oh, well, now we can't even ask for it, and so what are we supposed to do right here? You know, like
it is, yeah.
Shit, I mean, you know, like you don't want me to force it, you don't want me to ask.
I like the voice. I like the voice. He's in
I don't know what to do.
But the aspect is let it happen naturally. You don't have to be
Right.
quagmire.
I'm glad you said that. I saw a video, DJ Vlad. He was interviewing Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon says he's trying to, I guess, patent or work on an app, and it's called the CNCNT app. Basically, this app is a app for people that want to consent to have sex. Two people, like in terms of actually on their phone having the app to say, I will have sex with this person. Everything is like legal, like all of that. Both people have to click it and then it records it. So he talked about how he's trying to get it so that everything on the legality side is good, so it can stand up in court if anything happens. To Lone's point, when we talked about
shit, sounds problematic to me.
That's what I was getting to. Like, to me, there's a possibility of mad holes in this because it's the gray area that we just talked about with Aziz. It's like,
well, here's the one point, the basic point. You can be with a woman and she could sign off on it,
right?
But then the next moment, if she says I don't consent to this, then you don't do it.
Exactly.
Like it's that simple.
So how does the app take that into consideration?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And it can't.
It's
not possible.
Technically, you're asking.
Dudes are gonna be like,
point.
no.
To his point, to his point, he just talked about the young lady was saying that you shouldn't have to ask.
Right.
So if you have this app, technically you're asking every time.
Exactly.
It's like,
a subtle way.
Do you have the app? I need you to download the app real quick because I don't know where this night is going, and I just want to make sure that
we covered before. Yeah.
It like
right
promotes lameness.
Yeah, it does,
You know?
and that has to be a very awkward conversation. Like what you're in the heat of the moment. It's about to go down, and you like, let me grab my phone.
You got that app though?
You got that app?
Maybe this is the same thing people
What
said
that
about
app do?
condoms.
What that app
What that app do?
What that app do? We got a hashtag that. What that
Heat
app
of the
do?
moment.
Yeah, Netflix and chill and what that app
What
do.
that app do?
Straight
What
up.
that app do?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, but it's kind of like, to Lone's point, there could be mad holes that you could point in that thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know if
It's
really,
a dope idea to me, though. I just don't know if there's enough meat and potatoes on it, if it's enough to
There's
carry
gonna be
it through.
some people that lose the cookie based off trying to drop that
Drop
app.
that app.
Yeah,
Could be.
straight up.
There's a cornball factor to pulling out this app. Like, yeah, what that app
Well,
do?
but I mean,
Yeah.
but this whole dance between man and woman is a human interaction too. You can't take that part out of it. You know, like that's to me that's the tricky part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yeah. I mean,
Black Mirror shit, man.
there needs to be some sort of form of consciousness to where, like, remember that episode of Black Mirror where everybody becomes like, I don't care if it's a spoiler.
I haven't seen it.
The one where everybody gets like phased out and you can't see somebody if they turn you off.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Like did you guys hear, speaking of Black Mirror, that there's in China or Japan, they've talked about starting like this social rating system.
I did.
Yeah.
I did
Social
see that.
And that's like what episode was that? It was like season 3, episode 1, I think.
Something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, where the chick, she like her social media presence has to do with like her credit and being accepted in certain neighborhoods and being invited to like her friend's wedding and where she's sitting. It's crazy.
You talking about the Black Mirror episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took all that into consideration.
Have you seen that
man.
episode?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, like you have to get
the credit too,
likes and stuff like that from people who have like a higher status than you, and that makes your status go up. And like,
holy shit.
Like you, like say you walked into a restaurant,
and
you met the waiter or whatnot, and you had a good experience.
Yeah,
you're expected to rate that waiter.
The expectation comes.
Really,
that's the interesting part.
Well, damn.
And at one
then
point
that makes his social presence rise.
Is Black Mirror based around this and social interaction? And is
Black Mirror is based on shit that's out there that people are unsuspecting of, I believe. That's how I feel about it.
You know what Black Mirror actually stands for?
What?
It's the dark screen of a television when it's off, when you look at it. It's deep.
Along with
that is deep.
Along with that word. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
So think about it, and it's just like everything on the show is not really far off.
Yeah. It's like it's not real, but at the same time you're like, there's something real about this. Like
everything
like
feels
Enemy
like
of
it
the
could
State
be.
shit.
It could happen in
Remember
the next
when
10
Enemy
to
of the
50
State
years.
came out?
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Yeah.
And how they were showing all these cameras and stuff in the sky.
Yeah.
That could zero in on exactly what was going on.
Joints,
that was new. Like when you seen it, he was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That shit was happening.
Yeah. Go to Google Maps.
And now it's common.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'll spring it on you like that to make you be like, this is far in the future. This is just a movie. No, the shit's actually in play. It's happening. And now that it is happening, it's almost like, you don't even care anymore.
Right.
It is what it is.
It's getting closer.
Yeah.
But Black Mirror is very interesting.
Shit's crazy.
That got me want to check that out, man.
I think we may have told you to check it out like a year ago at least.
It might be time then.
You
Y'all definitely
sleep.
just sold me. I was
Sleep.
I always admit when I'm asleep though. I'm asleep.
You could kind of binge watch it too.
Do we have anything else
You
that
can
we
definitely do
need
that.
to talk about, or do we want to touch on anything else that we've already talked about anymore? Or
One thing I was going to bring up, 𝗏𝗏 𝗀𝐻
Yes,
and
sir.
the show Friday.
Yes, sir.
The hi-fi.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it's
Wine
the
After
Jazz
Work
Kitchen.
is before that.
it's
too.
at the Jazz Kitchen?
Jazz
Okay,
Kitchen.
sorry.
Yeah. The build.
Yeah. Ooh, go ahead and give it to yourself. No, hand it to Mike. Let him do it.
I haven't done it yet. That's a good
Okay.
first one.
Thursday night is the build.
Because it's Mike.
Thanks, Brad.
Thursday night is the build from 6:30 to 8:30 at 𝐀𝐻𝐲. Later that evening is the DJ Zero battle at Icon Lounge downtown.
All right.
Then we're into the semifinals.
I love that contest. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Friday's
Friday.
Wine After Work.
Is Brother to the Night still alive?
He is. He
Nice.
is. Yep.
I think my man TC
That's my
still
man.
in
Shout
it.
to Brother
He
to
is
the
as
Night
well.
and the
I think.
Impromptu. I think she's still. Is she
Impromptu.
still in it?
the Drunken Knights podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Shout to those
Word,
dudes.
word.
And 𝐶𝐴RIS, which is a
Okay.
dope name.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
And a couple other people. Who else? So Friday, Wine After Work, then 𝗏𝗏 𝗀𝐻. Project Pat is also playing at the Vogue.
Shout out to my dude Pac. He's opening for Project
Sirius
Pac.
Black.
Sirius Black on Saturday
Project
at the
Pata.
Hi-Fi. The Hi-Fi Sirius Black's going away show. He's moving out of town. So
Nice.
if you're in town, check that out. Or also the Icon Party, which is going on at, I believe, the Jazz
Cash
Kitchen.
Money versus No Limit.
It's Metronome and who else on the ones and twos?
Lady Shay.
Lady
Word.
Shay. Yep.
Last year was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last year that was dope.
So
It's usually always a good party.
Yeah.
we've announced the Dilla Dre party that
Okay.
we're going to be a part of, bringing on the band with Old Soul, which is going to be February 17th at the Hi-Fi. I believe that's the date.
That looks like that's going to be very fun
It's
and
going to be,
interesting.
and it's a contest too. So if you're an MC or a producer, we have a
Get involved.
Yeah, it's a $600 prize too.
Get
so
that bag.
the first 10 people to sign up, you got to put together a 3-track EP. The producer has to flip a sample that was used on donuts.
Okay.
And the MC has to write a song based on the original sample. And then they have to put 3 songs together and then perform it live, and the winner gets $600. So
that will be
submission process is on bringing down the band. So
there will be a judges panel for that as well. Correct.
well, of course. How else would we choose?
How
do we
else?
know-
You want to know the next question?
Do we know who?
Yeah, we don't have the judges selected yet.
Okay.
So
You know, people might want to know, man.
yeah, you know. But believe me, I'm a part of it, so the judges are not going to be whack.
That is a fact.
And if you rap over your vocals, you'll probably get docked.
Yeah.
Just don't do that.
Bang bang.
We don't like that. Not
So,
at all.
Yeah.
Did we miss? Is that it? Is that everything? We wrap everything up?
I think that was a pretty solid episode.
I agree.
Overall.
I would say so as well.
It's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be quagmiring. And,
Don't do it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Unless somebody wants you to giggity, don't giggity.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is going to conclude episode 64, the New Old Heads podcast, Lonegevity, DJ Jay Diff, DJ Spoolz. I am Major 7th. Make sure you visit bringingdowntheband.com. We have links to our Patreon site. We are working on making that more easy and accessible for you all to see what we have. So stay tuned, be patient with us.
but it's
Give
still,
us $1.
It's still go. You can still go to
It's
New Old
still
Heads.
patreon.com/newoldheads.
Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll be talking about it more.
Support us.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Holler.